Hi, good evening, everyone. We still have some people filtering in, so we're going to begin our programming at 6:05. In the meantime, please help yourself to some catering. You can visit our altar. There are white paper bags on either side that you can decorate and add a candle to and add to the altar if you would like to contribute. Thank you for your patience.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Okay, cool. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this year's Trans Day of Remembrance. Sincerely thank all of you for being here to commemorate our trans lives, whether it is here in person or via the live streams. Today, we not only honor the trans lives we've lost this past year, but also the amazing resilience of the entire trans and gender expansive community. Although this is a day to hold our remembrance, we also want to create a space of celebration for life and our community's resilience. On a day like today, especially here in America, continuing to feel the joy, pride, and strength in transness alongside our mourning is imperative to not only support our community, but also ourselves. So I'll introduce myself. I'm Tegan Gaviola. I use she, they pronouns, and I'm the events coordinator for LGBT Education Support Services. And I will be emceeing this event alongside my co-facilitator from Transponder.
Hello, I am Jack Flukinger. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the resource manager for Transponder, and I will be emceeing this event alongside Tegan.
Okay, cool. We give our thanks to any other members of LGBT ESS and Transponder that have supported us with the planning process of this year's event. We would also like to extend our appreciation of the support and engagement from the Belonging Space for assisting with providing spaces for folks to tune in via the live stream, as well as Looking Glass for tabling and providing resources. Okay, before we continue on with the rest of our programming, we would like to remind everyone of a few items. First, there's a water fountain right outside the doors and to the left, and there's also some water provided with our catering. Along with that, there's a gender-neutral bathroom, and it is available off to the right of the lobby, and it's indicated. Its location is indicated with signs, and we also have a low stimulation room available right across the hallway in the Maple Room. So please feel free to come and go as needed. And we would also like to note that we have the altar over here that's to the left of the stage, where we've placed photographs of the trans community members that we have lost this past year. Provided on the altar and at your tables are paper luminary bags, and we invite you to contribute to our altar by decorating or writing messages on these bags and setting them up with a faux candle at our altar. We have an altar attendant stationed there for the majority of the event the event to help you with any questions. So thank you for your engagement. We would like to now begin tonight by offering a land acknowledgement. The University of Oregon is located on Kalapuya Ilihi, the traditional indigenous homeland of the Kalapuya people. Following treaties between 1851 and 1855, Kalapuya people were dispossessed of their indigenous homeland by the United States government and forcibly removed to the Coast Reservation in Western Oregon. Today, Kalapuya descendants are primarily citizens of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde and the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians, and they continue to make important contributions to their communities, to the UO, to Oregon, and to the world. And following the Indigenous protocol of acknowledging the original people of the land that we occupy, we also extend our respect to the 9 federally recognized Indigenous nations of Oregon: the Burns Paiute Tribe, the Confederated Tribe of the Sioux, Lower Umpqua and Swislaw Indians, the Confederated Tribe of Grand Ronde, the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians, the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation, the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs, the Coquille Indian Tribe, the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians, and the Klamath Tribes. We express our respect to the many more tribes who have ancestral connections to this territory, as well as to all the other displaced Indigenous peoples who call Oregon home. We would also like to offer a labor acknowledgement, as we recognize and acknowledge the labor upon which our country, state, and institution are built. We remember that our country was built on the labor of enslaved people who were kidnapped and brought to the U.S. from the African continent, and recognize the continued contribution of their survivors. We also acknowledge all immigrant and indigenous apologies.
We also acknowledge all immigrant and Indigenous labor, including voluntary, involuntary, trafficked, forced, and undocumented peoples who contributed to the building of this country, and those who continue to serve within our labor force. We recognize that our country is continuously defined, supported, and built upon by oppressed communities and peoples. We acknowledge labor inequities and the shared responsibility for combating oppressive systems in our daily work. As a reminder, we offer these acknowledgements as places to start conversation, not as the end of our action, and we must continue to decolonize not only our work, but also in every facet of our daily lives that has been shaped by the very colonialist institutions that have perpetuated the unethical treatment in labor we recognize today. With that, I'd like to continue on to provide a content warning about certain triggering topics, specifically notes on suicide and anti-trans violence. In respect for our trans community members that we have lost this past year, we have chosen to refrain from disclosing the nature of each person's passing. We not only want to honor their lives through remembrance, but also honor their resilience and that of the entire trans community. That being said, we understand that today's program will hold great weight no matter the content we share, and so we urge you to take time and space for yourself if needed. Again, there is a low stimulation room right across the hallway in the Maple Room if you're in need of a break for your well-being. Please take care of yourselves. Our list of 122 folks is the most exhaustive list we could compile, and we would like to honor those whose names were unreported or unknown. Of the people we are honoring this year, roughly 20% died by suicide. This statistic does not solely reflect the mental health of those we've lost, but also the transphobic vitriol and violence present in our current society that is too often experienced by the trans and gender expansive community. We feel that it is important to acknowledge the role of anti-trans violence and trans and gender expansive suicide rates across the nation. Although Trans Day of Remembrance began as a way to remember those who have passed due to anti-trans violence, we've included those who died by suicide, as we recognize the direct correlation between the two. Now, before officially starting the reading of the names, we would like to take a moment to ground ourselves by leading everyone through a breathing exercise. Please close your eyes and take a deep breath in for 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold for 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale for 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's continue a couple more times. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, hold, exhale. Please allow your breathing to return to its natural state. Thank you. As we begin the reading of the names, we'd like to note that this video is about 50 minutes long, so please take care of yourselves during this time and do what you need to support yourself. With that, we would now like to honor 2024's Trans Day of Remembrance with the reading of the names.
T. Arnold. T. Arnold was a 36-year-old transgender man from Hollandale Beach, Florida. He was always supportive and connected to the friends and extended family around him, and was a strong adult male figure in the lives of his nieces and nephews. Known as Legend Billions to his friends, he loved to travel and was planning to go to Bali later this year to celebrate his birthday. One of his friends, Cece Gates, said, "Thank you for blessing the world with your greatness, laughter, and good energy. Thank you for showing the world that there is nothing better than being your true, authentic self." Dependable, authentic, vibrant. T. Arnold.
Ronnie Baker. Ronnie Baker was a 46-year-old transgender woman from Portland, Oregon. Even while living in Portland, Ronnie openly expressed a great fondness for her hometown of Killeen, Texas. Ronnie was a renowned NES ROM hacker and admirable indie game dev who spent her time working on retro game restoration, creating music for her band Destroyed for Comfort, and publishing thought-provoking articles for The Trans Advocate, Cracked, The Modern Rogue, and Bunny Ears. Talented, remarkable, and passionate, Ronnie was regarded as a ROM hacking legend by her collaborators, friends, and admirers. As one friend put it, she was a genius in her way, creating work which was bizarre, twisted, beautiful, and entirely her own. Brilliant, fierce, prolific. Ronnie Baker.
Kita B. Kita B was a 46-year-old transgender woman from Kansas City, Missouri. Kita would spend most of her free time in the community teaching other women how to stay safe on the streets. She loved to sing, dance, and perform to make people smile, laugh, and have a genuinely good time when she was around. Kita B was a trans woman who was always in her authentic form, no matter where she was or who she was with. She was proud of who she was. Proud, free, loving. Kita B.
Next Benedict. Next Benedict was a 16-year-old Indigenous, Choctaw, non-binary, and Two-Spirit high school student whose life story made national headlines at the beginning of the year. Next was a sophomore at Owasso High School in Oklahoma and was known for being a nature lover who spent their time caring for cats in the local area and especially loved their cat, Zeus. Next was a very artistic young person that loved to draw and express themselves through their art, as well as being an avid reader, earning straight A's through their high school career. Caring, intelligent, creative. Next, Benedict. Shannon Boswell. Shannon Boswell was a 30-year-old trans woman from Atlanta, Georgia. She was known as a people person with many friends and loved watching movies and living her life out loud. She was also sweet and loving, deeply connected to her family, and took care of her grandmother for weeks when she was in mourning after a death in the family. Caring, sweet, fun-loving, Shannon Boswell.
Diamond Cherish Brigman. Diamond Cherish Brigman was a 36-year-old transgender woman from Houston, Texas. Energetic and personable, Diamond was described by her closest friends as larger than life. Diamond was a devoted and self-reliant hard worker who was maintaining her sobriety and planning on going back to school to receive her high school diploma. Diamond's love for hip-hop, R&B, and her devout spirituality strengthened her positive self-esteem and allowed her to tackle her goals with a fierceness. Diamond once stated, "Not one drop of my self-worth depends on your acceptance of me." Devoted, persistent, kind. Diamond Cherish Brigman.
Monique Brooks, Jade Monique Thomas. Monique Brooks, also known as Jade Monique Thomas, was a 49-year-old trans woman from Winter Park, Florida. She was an active member in the trans community and was an active participant in Divas in Dialogue, a sisterhood for trans women of color centered around empowering each other. Each year, she devoted her birthday to different causes, including the National LGBTQ Task Force. Her sibling, Leisha, described her as fun-loving, brilliant, and smart. Generous, diva, exceptional. Monique Brooks, Jade Monique Thomas.
Jeremy Basil Brown. Jeremy Basil Brown was a 21-year-old genderqueer transgender man from Lafayette, Louisiana. Jeremy attended the University of Louisiana at Lafayette and was recognized by classmates and friends as someone who could light up even the darkest room with their positive outlook on life and glowing personality. An artist at heart, Jeremy used their in-depth knowledge of coding to create a personal art gallery with the creative complexity to be considered an entire digital universe. Jeremy's mind was one of a kind, and their art remains memorialized on the web, which has been lovingly archived by their closest friends. Clever, visionary, kind-hearted. Jeremy Basil Brown. Star Brown. Star Brown was a 28-year-old black trans woman from Memphis, Tennessee. Alongside her day job as a restaurant worker, Star was also a content creator who had a prominent following on the social media platform formerly known as Twitter. Her social media showcased her love for fashion and makeup. She greatly valued her family and took immense joy in being an aunt to her beloved nieces and nephews. Her family and friends described her as a beautiful soul who always had uplifting words for the people around her. Sweet, soulful, beloved. Star Brown.
Noah Jackson Chase. Noah Jackson Chase was a 58-year-old trans man from Charlotte, North Carolina. He was an Army veteran who proudly wore his jump wings on his hat. He loved music, rainbows, having adventures with friends and family, singing, meditation, and pride celebrations. He was a proud member of the LGBTQIA Two-Spirit community with many close, lifelong friends. Compassionate, grateful, true. Noah Jackson Chase. Yella Clark. Yella Clark was a 45-year-old community member from Angola, Louisiana. They smiled and laughed easily, but were also serious and quick to protect the ones they loved. Yella was described as a flower that grew despite being planted in concrete. Protective, resilient, loving. Yella Clark.
Ashton Miles Clatterbuck. Ashton Miles Clatterbuck was a 22-year-old transgender man from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. A college student majoring in political science and journalism, he was a sharp writer, voracious reader, avid runner and marathoner, and steadfast activist who used his short time in this world standing up for what he believed in and protesting the injustices around him. He was a fierce advocate for the trans community, often being publicly out and willing to talk with people in political or religious settings who might never have met a trans person before. Dedicated, magnetic, and compassionate. Ashton Miles Clatterbuck.
Andrea Doria dos Passos. Andrea Doria dos Passos was a 37-year-old transgender woman from Miami, Florida. When Andrea's mother asked if she wanted to move back to her childhood home in Coral Gables, Andrea told her that her heart belonged out in the world. There were not many safe locations for Andrea to exist as an unhoused trans woman. Somewhere she spent her time was Pride Lines, one of the city's only LGBTQ+ community centers. Shame that her life was taken this tragically, the executive director of Pride Lines said at Andrea's vigil. She was our whole world, just having fun, enjoying the experience, and being her authentic self. Joyous, supported, powerful. Andrea Doria dos Passos.
Dominic Dupree. Dominic Dupree was a 25-year-old gender non-conforming community member from Chicago, Illinois. Dominic established and operated Private Protection Division LLC in Gary, Indiana. Dominic's social media is filled with Chicago sports teams and athletes, political figures, Tyler Perry movies, and favorite TV shows. Industrious, clever, true. Dominic Dupree.
Maya Finch. Maya Finch was a 36-year-old transgender woman from Boston, Massachusetts. She was known for her love of fashion, music, Vogue, and dance, and she loved to travel. She had a loving relationship with family, friends, and community, and was known to care for many in their times of need, including bringing meals to children at home when schools were closed during the COVID quarantine. She was a proud member of her local LGBTQIA2S community, known for her beauty and leadership. She was a proud member of her local LGBTQIA2S community, known for her beauty and leadership. Loving, gentle, protective, Maya Finch.
Shandon Floyd. Shandon Floyd was a 20-year-old transgender woman from Columbia, South Carolina. She was close to her mother and beloved by many. She loved doing hair, traveling, and having fun with friends. She was described by friends and family as sweet, kind, fun, and fun-loving, the life of the party. Shandon wanted to be a nurse and hairstylist and was attending nursing school. Fun, kind-hearted, sweet. Shandon Floyd.
Alex Franco. Alex Franco was a 21-year-old transgender man from Salt Lake City, Utah. Alex graduated from high school in 2019 and had planned to attend college. A generous and compassionate family member, Alex adored spending quality time with his many siblings, teaching them how to play sports, and overall being a positive role model. Alex was an elite softball player, thriving community member, and fierce dog lover. Alex was joyful, unapologetic, and fashionable, as well as an outstandingly loyal friend to all who knew him. Alex always stood up for those in need, and his love was unconditional. Generous, protective, compassionate, Alex Franco. Africa Emma Parrilla Garcia. Africa Emma was a 25-year-old trans woman from San Juan, Puerto Rico. Friends in the local trans community described her as a sister and that she loved and was loved and valued. Connected, beautiful, loved. Africa Emma Parrilla Garcia. Cecilia Gentili. Cecilia Gentili was a 52-year-old transgender woman from Galvez, Argentina. Cecilia was a deeply loved activist for people living with HIV and sex worker rights, as well as an advocate for transgender and immigrant communities. A non-existent list of Cecilia's activist work includes being the director of policy at the GMHC, founding Trans Equity Consulting, co-organizing the first all-trans music festival in NYC called the Transmissions Fest, hosting a fundraiser for Black trans people called Fierce Futures, and much more. Cecilia was also an actress and author, synthesizing her art and activism in an autobiographical off-Broadway show and debut book. Cecilia is remembered for bringing explosive trans joy to every project she touched, and her positive impact on multiply marginalized communities in NYC and beyond will never be forgotten. Beloved, vivacious, courageous, Cecilia Gentili. River Nevaeh Phoenix Goddard. River Nevaeh Goddard was a 17-year-old non-binary teen from Stowe, Massachusetts. They were outgoing with a quick wit and loved to joke around. Friends and family remember them for being creative and artistic, writing their own music and making art in school. Goofy, creative, outgoing, River Nevaeh Phoenix Goddard. Indiana Grayson. Indiana Grayson was a 27-year-old trans femme non-binary person from North Carolina. Indiana was an artist, a self-proclaimed nerd, and occasionally a Twitch streamer. They posted photos of Lego kits, live music, and boba tea on their social media. In her last post, Indiana says, "I just wanted everyone to remember me like this, happy, smiling, full of love. I promise I had so much love for all of you, even at the end." Eclectic, inspired, compassionate, Indiana Grayson. Dylan Gurley. Dylan Gurley was a 20-year-old trans woman from Little Elm and Denton, Texas. Dylan, though friends sometimes called her Gurley, deeply cared for her siblings and cousins. She lost a teenage brother in 2020 and would send him messages on social media to keep a reminder of him. She also felt very strongly about justice and would post her support for pro-choice and LGBTQ+ groups online frequently. Loyal, kind, devoted, Dylan Gurley. Care Hansen. Care Hansen was a 21-year-old non-binary gender-diverse person from Riverton, Utah. Care loved to act and sing, performing in many plays, choir performances, and even being a background actor in movies and TV shows. According to family, Care's, quote, professionalism and talent made them a favorite of several casting directors, and they were always invited back. Having featured extra roles in Studio C sketches, several religious films, multiple seasons of the High School Musical series, and more. Having many pets throughout their life, including a dog, cat, turtle, ferrets, and more. Care had a strong love of animals and even rescued and rehabilitated birds in their spare time. Care was also deeply invested in nursing as well as traveling to engage in humanitarian work, and they will always be remembered for the positive impact they made on their community. Driven, talented, thoughtful, Care Hansen.
Michelle Henry. Michelle was a 25-year-old woman from San Francisco, California. an active member of the San Francisco LGBTQ Youth Center and San Francisco queer community. She was a young woman with her whole life ahead of her. Described by friends and family as a ray of light, who connected with people and brought warmth and connection to those around her, she was a sister and mentor who was committed to the cause of trans liberation. Dynamic, kind, fearless. Michelle Henry. Reina Hernandez. Reina was a 54-year-old woman from Renton, Washington. She was devoutly religious and attended Catholic Mass regularly and was active in her community. She owned and operated her own hair salon and had many close friends and family who describe her as compassionate, empathetic, generous, and grateful for all she had in life. Hardworking, empathetic, dreamer. Reina Hernandez. Righteous Torrance T.K. Chevy Hill. Righteous Torrance Hill was a 35-year-old man from Atlanta, Georgia. A supportive and involved family man and active community member, Chevy owned an LGBTQ plus hair salon where he was not only celebrated for his talent as a barber, but also for creating a safe space where the queer community was welcomed and celebrated. Leader, talented, beloved. Righteous Torrance T.K. Chevy Hill. Red Barbie Iceland. Red Barbie Iceland was a 25-year-old trans woman from Lawndale, Illinois. She was known to be full of life, had a love for music, and was deeply loyal to her friends and family. Her loved ones told news sources she had this positive energy that could brighten anyone's day. Red loved Nicki Minaj, where she got the nickname Barbie, and had recently been to a Nicki Minaj concert. She loved helping friends and family with hair and makeup and wanted to start her own business selling wigs, lashes, and beauty products. She was very close to both her family and her found family. Vivacious, loving, radiant. Red Barbie Iceland. Naomi Jenkins. Naomi was a 44-year-old transgender woman from the San Francisco Bay Area, California. She loved going to music, going to see live concerts, her dog, and her community. She was involved in the Bay Area Black trans community and had an extended network of friends and family who loved her. She has been described as a legend who has helped others with her lessons and guidance. Legendary, mentor, fun. Naomi Jenkins. Jaslyn Johnson. Jaslyn was an 18-year-old transgender teenager from Las Vegas, Nevada. She was bright, talented, beloved, a dedicated student who was looking forward to cosmetology school after graduating from high school. She's described by friends and family as being a shining light with a kind heart, an easygoing personality. She loved makeup and Hello Kitty. Bright, talented, kind. Jaslyn Johnson. Quinn Joy. Quinn Joy was a transgender woman from Iowa. She was a proud communist, feminist, and union worker who was slated to be her workplace's next union president. She chose the name Quinn Joy as a testament to how hard she fought for her personal happiness. She was endlessly dedicated to herself, her beliefs, and the community members around her. Her friends remember her as an inspiration and a force to be reckoned with. Proud, iconic, united. Quinn Joy.
Tavion Tay Lathan. Tay was an outgoing, kind trans woman from Baltimore who loved homemade chicken Alfredo and never went a day without speaking to her mother. She was 1 month away from going to school to become a nurse for elderly patients. She was deeply loved by her family, as well as her best friend, Paige Boyd, who told WJZ News, "I will make sure she is never forgotten." Outgoing, kind, joyful. Tavion Tay Lathan. Megan Riley Lewis. Megan was a 53-year-old trans woman from Bel Air, Maryland. She was heavily involved in her local trans community, hosting things like a holiday dinner for those who had nowhere else to go for the holidays, as well as a patient support group for trans people traveling to Baltimore for surgery. Her catchphrase was, "Stay sparkly," which continued to inspire her community as they celebrated her life. She was incredibly passionate about the Baltimore alternative music scene and was a dedicated Grateful Dead fan. Megan's friends describe her as an incredibly bright light and a huge asset to the transgender community, claiming she was one of the kindest people they've ever met. Sparkly, giving, supportive. Megan Riley Lewis. Polly Likens. Polly was a 14-year-old trans girl from Sharpsville, Pennsylvania. Sassy, silly, funny, with contagious laughter, who was always cracking jokes with her family and making everyone smile. She was also giving and loving, donating change to organizations outside grocery stores and petting every animal she saw. She loved music, shopping, and fashion, as well as gaming with her friends through Fortnite and Roblox. Polly wanted to be a park ranger when she grew up, just like her aunt. Selfless, sassy, loving. Polly Likens. Alistair Matthews. Alistair Matthews was a 17-year-old from Lockport, Illinois. He has been described as an unapologetically unique person who was never afraid to be himself. Enjoying local horror acting, Alistair was remembered for his warm smile and creative spirit. As a bright light to those around him, he is remembered as a great friend and son. Unique, creative, fashionable, Alistair Matthews. Lola Laperla Ebony McDaniels. Lola Laperla Ebony McDaniels was a 36-year-old femme queen from Newark, New Jersey. She was an iconic queen of the ballroom at both the House of La Perla and the House of Ebony in New York. Lola had style and kindness on the ballroom floor and outside of it. She is remembered as someone who is the real deal when it comes to living your life and creating your own rules. Real, stylish, dynamic. Lola Laperla Ebony McDaniels. Naomi McNew. Naomi McNew was a 24-year-old community member from Kokomo, Indiana. She was a committed and avid gamer. She had a penchant for the cheesiest of B movies, musicals, and show tunes. She was also a magically talented artist and graphic designer, creating unbelievable beauty. Artistic, passionate, talented. Naomi McNew. Maraxis Medina. Maraxis Medina was a transgender woman from Los Angeles, California. Maraxis was well on her way to becoming who she always meant to be. She was a makeup artist who also worked at Universal Studios Hollywood, enjoyed shopping and watching the Jurassic Park movie series, and admired Shakira and Karol G. One of her friends, Alicia Veneno, said that Maraxis pushed me out of my comfort zone, and I love that about her. We were just trying to survive. We were just trying to make it in life. We didn't know what we wanted to do or where we wanted to go, but we wanted to go somewhere. Influential, straight up, expressive. Maraxis Medina. Amber Miner. Amber Miner was a 40-year-old black transgender woman from Kansas City, Missouri. Amber knew at an early age that she wanted to transition and began her transition in the 90s. She was raised by her grandmother in a home near the family of Trayshawn Roberts, who would become Amber's best friend. Some of Trayshawn's earliest memories with Amber were emphatically rapping along with Lil' Kim and dreaming of opening a hair salon, doing professional makeup, and becoming a showgirl. Trayshawn said about their friendship, quote, "It wasn't their life they had to live, it was our life," unquote. Bold, true, loved, Amber Miner. James Moen. James Moen was a 23-year-old transgender man from Grand Junction, Colorado. Twin and sibling of 5, James was close with his family and was an outstanding community member. James had a soft spot for animals and owned many pets that he lovingly took care of, including 2 cats, a crested gecko, and his pet snake named Rose Quartz. James enjoyed collecting and restoring dolls, and he often shared his impressive Monster High collection online to his adoring friends. James spent a lot of time hanging out with his best friend of over 11 years, Matthias, chatting about internet drama, listening to Melanie Martinez, and sharing their love for good omens. Matthias described James as having a heart of gold and that he was a safe place to land. Empathetic, friendly, passionate, James Moen. Kitty Monroe. Kitty Monroe was a 43-year-old transgender woman, gender diverse person from Phoenix, Arizona. The oldest of 7 children, Kitty had a strong love for her family and had recently been caring for her mother, who was showing early signs of dementia. Kitty loved all things fashion and beauty, following several makeup and stylish brands, and having her own sense of style inspired by celebrities such as Marilyn Monroe, Amy Winehouse, and more. Kitty's sister described her as being the main character wherever she went, a huge supporter of their mother, and appreciated her distinctive fashion sense and protective and loving nature. Caring, protective, fashionable, Kitty Monroe. Madison, Montana. Madison, Montana was a 26-year-old non-binary person from Los Angeles, California. According to a friend, Madison loved to make music and art, always playing their ukulele, Mercy, and enjoying playing and singing outside in nature. Madison used art to process their life experiences and emotions, as well as for social justice work and advocacy. They were a big fan of Nintendo and video games, excelling at games such as the Donkey Kong trilogy, Kirby, and more. Described by a friend as the most emotionally compassionate and empathetic person they know, Madison is remembered by loved ones as a beacon that shined bright with unabashed creativity, kindness, compassion, and love. Creative, vibrant, kind, Madison, Montana. Derry Moore. Derry Moore was a 23-year-old black trans woman from St. Louis, Missouri. She was deeply cherished by her loved ones. Her family and friends described her as confident, lovable, and full of life, said childhood friend Izzy Baker. She has a story and I want her voice to be heard. Members of Moore's trans community described her as a humble, kind individual whose presence was cherished by those who knew her. Loving, lively, confident, Derry Moore. Alan O'Donnell. Alan O'Donnell was a 20-year-old transgender man from Brockport, New York. As described by loved ones, Alan was creative, curious, and well-read, with a thirst for knowledge and deep passion for his studies. Alan loved to learn about insects and share interesting facts about them with family and friends, and he spent his free time hiking and exploring nature. His favorite season was fall, and Alan was studying biology at the State University of New York, Brockport, after graduating high school with honors. Alan also enjoyed manga and anime, and is remembered by family and friends for his kind and sensitive nature. Ambitious, curious, loving, Alan O'Donnell. River Page Olmsted. River Page Olmsted was a 17-year-old non-binary person from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Though they had only transferred to Manheim Township High School for their senior year, River's infectious personality had quickly garnered the love and friendship of their peers and teachers. Middle child of 3, River was close with both of their siblings and was lovingly uplifted. A talented musician at heart, River sang passionately in choir, mastered the French horn, and excelled in advanced placement music theory. River loved being outdoors and found inspiration in nature anywhere they could, whether they were camping, animal watching, getting lost in a book, or attending the Renaissance Fair. River's confidence and authenticity was a radiant force and continues to be an encouragement to their peers and loved ones. Gifted, passionate, confident, River Page Olmsted.
Kasim Omar. Kasim Omar was a 29-year-old trans woman from Somalia. She graduated from the University of Nairobi in Kenya and then moved to Columbus, Ohio in 2015. She was a wonderful woman that loved to dance, sing, and explore fashion. She was also known to get dressed up and just hop in her car and enjoy a long drive in her car. Eloquent, expressive, vibrant, Kasim Omar.
London Price. London Price was a 26-year-old transgender woman from New Orleans, Louisiana, that moved to Miami, Florida after graduating high school. She was known around her area as being the kind of person that would give you the shirt off her back. London was very interested in jewelry and music and had recently taken her first trip to Disney in Florida and had many friends in her area that loved her dearly for her compassion and caring ways. Sweet, compassionate, empathetic, London Price.
Skylar Harrison Reeves. Skylar was a 30-year-old transgender woman from Washington, D.C. She was described by her aunt as a beautiful beacon of light who could light up even the darkest of room with her presence. Beautiful, who loved, and effervescent. Skylar Harrison Reeves.
Amiri Jean Reed. Amiri Jean Reed was a 21-year-old transgender woman from Toledo, Ohio. She is described by friends and family as being the life of the party, having an infectious sense of humor that brightened the lives of the people around her. Amiri enjoyed wordplay and followed boxing and popular musicians on her social media. Amiri is remembered by loved ones for her fun-loving nature and positive attitude. Positive, funny, fun-loving, Amiri Jean Reed. Kawan Richardson. Kawan Richardson was a 21-year-old gender nonconforming person from Toledo, Ohio. Kawan attended Woodward High School and had been working at KFC since 2018. Kawan enjoyed basketball, singing, the Avengers movies, and supporting local businesses, especially restaurants. Kawan was deeply beloved by friends and family and is remembered as a lover of music and singing. Musical, kind, joyful, Kawan Richardson. 1. Annie Roberson. Annie Roberson was a 30-year-old trans woman from Washington, D.C. She worked as a character escort with Six Flags America. Annie liked talking about Disney, Black history, music, and cosmetics. She was connected to Casa Ruby LGBTQ Community Center in DC and Power Safe Resource Center in Virginia. Her social media is full of whimsy and humor. Her aunt said about her, she was a beautiful beacon of life. She could have been in the darkest room and shined it bright. Charming, loved, shining, Annie Roberson. Trip Schultz. Trip Schultz was a 31-year-old community member from Salt Lake City, Utah. Trip had many interests that he loved fiercely, playing bass guitar in multiple bands, including going on tour with the groups Consumed by Silence and Lament Configuration. Early horror films from the 30s and 50s, camping and being in nature, and working with his hands through carpentry and mechanics. He joyously participated in LGBTQIA+ celebrations and endlessly advocated for the queer community. His sibling relayed requests on how Trip should be remembered. First, always be yourself. Second, love hard and unconditionally. And finally, if you ever feel lost and alone, know that he will always be with us. Dedicated, passionate, loyal, Trip Schultz. Kenji Samantha Spurgeon. Kenji Samantha Spurgeon was a 23-year-old gender-expansive trans woman born in Alabama. Kenji was a bright light to all in their life. Beginning a life of dancing in middle school, she was an artistic mastermind. She always created new things. Known for an extraordinary ability to uplift those around her, Kenji was quick-witted and full of joy. Witty, bright, joyous. Kenji Samantha Spurgeon. M. Tapia. M. Tapia was a 15-year-old Latina trans woman from Denver, Colorado. Additional information about her life and personality is not published publicly. News outlets chose to include her legal name and tragic nature of her death rather than information about who she was. She was one of us. Community, valued, remembered. M. Tapia. Tay Dior Thomas. Tay was a 17-year-old trans woman from Mobile, Alabama. She worked at an AMC theater and was a week away from graduating from high school. She was a twin with a large family of relatives and friends who loved her deeply and supported her journey. Described as shy but fearless, Tay had a huge smile that showed off her dimples, was a natural leader and selfless young woman who loved helping other people. Selfless, fearless, leader. Tay Dior Thomas.
Liara Kaylee Tsai. Liara Kaylee Tsai was a 35-year-old transgender woman from Boston, Wisconsin. She studied psychology at the University of Iowa and was a popular DJ, having recently moved to Milwaukee to expand her career in music. Liara was also a valued member of the 988 Crisis Intervention Team run by the Trevor Project, being remembered by other team members for her empowering gentleness and remarkable ability to center the feelings and experiences of LGBTQ+ young people. Liara served in the Air Force for 8 years and loved corgis, having several of her own, and the care she showed to her community cannot be overstated. Radiant, creative, authentic. Liara Kaylee Tsai. Lisa Love Terman. Lisa was a 35-year-old transgender woman from Chicago, Illinois. She was described as an all-around good person who was loving and caring towards people and animals. She was a free spirit who was always laughing and bringing love to friends and family with her infectious smile. Humorous, fun-loving, caring. Lisa Love Terman. Chris Velasquez. Chris Velasquez was a 37-year-old non-binary person from Newark, Delaware. Chris is described by friends and family as a vastly charming individual with an amiable disposition, smart wit, can-do spirit, and a desire to always continue to learn and grow. Chris served in the U.S. Marine Corps from 2004 to 2012, leading them to participate in anti-war activist work and advocate for better support of disabled veterans. Chris engaged meaningfully with Gamers for Peace as part of Veterans for Peace, and was passionate about educating others about the connections between militarism and the climate crisis. Chris loved their 2 dogs, Mishka and Moriarty, and cat Maeve, and they are remembered for their commitment to building a better world for their community. Leader, adventurous, compassionate, Chris Velasquez. Lexis Walker. Lexis Walker was a 43-year-old transgender woman of color from Norfolk, Virginia. Beyond being a sister and a daughter, she was a mother to her chosen family and community. Working as an educator, advocate, and entertainer, Lexis was known for her warm personality and infectious positivity. Speaking to her confidence and personality, her friend Lakeisha wrote under a post that featured a video of Lexis dancing, saying, "You literally stayed until the end of the night and even got on the mic." Compassionate, positive, fearless. Lexis Walker.
Sasha Williams. Sasha Williams was a 36-year-old multiracial transgender woman from Las Vegas, Nevada. She was an only child, a smart kid who grew up to have a large personality and lifelong friendships. She had a knack for fashion design and fabric, making her own clothes and upholstering her car in her favorite print, cheetah. She was competitive in the ballroom scene and loved dance. She was a loving and caring, sending supplies and care packages to people she knew, paying for studio time for musician friends, and caring for her pet dogs. Creative, generous, smart. Sasha Williams. Savannah Ryan Williams. Savannah Ryan Williams was a 38-year-old Native American and Cuban transgender woman of color. She was well involved in the trans community in Minneapolis, especially through the support network Tea Times held at the Aliveness Project, where she would attend. Her older sister, Gabrielle Stilday, stated that she was the favorite auntie to her nieces and nephews. Savannah was known for being the type of person who would give people in need the shoes off of her own feet. She enjoyed having fun, watching movies, and listening to artists such as Drake and Beyonce. Caring, fearful, joyful. Savannah Ryan Williams. Vanity Williams. Vanity was a 34-year-old transgender woman from Houston, Texas. She was known for lifting the Black community and creating safe space for everyone. She was an Air Force veteran who had just started nursing school. She loved fashion, beauty, and nail art, and wanted to open a med spa after getting a nursing degree. She had the ability to make people smile and laugh, and to speak truth and power about what it means to be a woman of color, and those close to her continue to feel her light brighten their lives. She often said, "I don't fear death, I fear injustice." Brilliant, dedicated, selfless. Vanity Williams.
Campbell, Jesse Viviano White, Star Possum, Jermaine Golden, Zoe Fly, Ashley Jasmine Colgate Edwards, Fleetwood Mars Mosey, Kimbella Blackshear, Easley Jeffcoat, Lady Fabian Sanchez, Dana Randolph, also known as Desiree A. DeMornay, Janelle Jaquez, Serena Mihailoff, Sasha Fierce Washington, Galila Gigi Eob, Fidel Lombardo, Savannah Rose Rivers Amore, Kathy Otter Otterston, Robin Valentina, Forrest Douglas Buckley, Giselle Stone, Tristan Michael Bustos, also known as Tristan St. Clair, Natalia Sky, Teddy Reese Curran, Eric Kraus, Ellie Walsh, Blakely Hansen, Madison Nicole Spann, also known as Madison St. Clair, Elliot Gagnon, Faye Morgana Barbone, Aurelia A. Legacy, Ty Geisinger, also known as Ty Holiday, Tiffany Azalea Monco, Tara Fable, Randy Dudley, George A. Chappelle, Robbie Mayhews, Cameron Cantrell Smith, Delicious O'Hare Mazzani, Santi Bonet Valentino, Lynn Conway, Griffin Sean Sivray, Ev Smith, Levi Castillo, Lily Autumn Rose, Noelle Woolley, Jazara Femi Williams, Baxter Zachary Hawk, Liam Johns, Madia Lynn, Chili Pepper, Cass Tristero. I will now read a eulogy for trans lives, originally written for Advocates for Trans Equality's Trans Remembrance Project, which you can find online along with additional detailed information about the community members who we have lost this year at transremembrance.org. A eulogy for trans lives. Where do we go for comfort when the unthinkable, the unimaginable has happened? We come together. Whether it's our families or our communities, we come together to mourn. This beautiful person has died, and we feel so keenly the death of that joy in our life. We grieve together for the losses of the past year and look for something to grab onto before they slip fully through our fingers. Why did this happen to us? Almost every culture on earth has a creation myth. They are vessels for our values, guiding us to meaning and purpose. Fearful and unsure, we seek to make sense of our vast and incomprehensible world when no apparent answers exist. We find ourselves asking the same questions of death. Creation myths give us more than the answers to the questions we ask. They reveal a drive that is at the core of our humanity, the creation of beauty and art. So great is the beauty of the natural world, trees, sunshine, the sound of rain, that it must have come from some deep truth that breathed life into it. Our communities understand creation, and we are the divine artists of our world. We recognize the deep and beautiful truth within ourselves. We are built around art, a creation myth made real through our will and hope in the deepest truths in our souls. We paint our canvas and sculpt our bodies and sing joy into our own lives. We are born clay and mold ourselves to match our hearts. Some of the people we lost were performers who used glitter and makeup to perform gender. Others poured soup and drinks like concrete to build the foundations of their community, making us stronger as we learned how to lean on each other for nourishment and support. They knitted neighborhoods out of the thinnest threads of hope. These are the people we cherished. These are the people who shared their art with us, and we learned joy by following their joy. It's no wonder that mourning something so essential and beautiful can feel so dark and hopeless. Grief can test the bonds between us and shatter our lives into sharp and ugly pieces. It tells us that our beautiful worlds are as gone from us as the people who created them with us. But this feeling is a lie. It's true that the person we loved has died, but they haven't gone from our world. We can look to other artists to remind us of this. Kintsugi is the art of repairing pottery with gold and precious metals. It pulls the pieces together to reform the whole. It does not seek to hide the damage or make it like new, but instead highlights the broken places. Mourning, too, can be an act of creation. We can put our pieces together, not without the people we've lost, but highlighting the impact they've had on our lives. By filling the cracks and spaces of their absence, we're left with an indelible memory of them. That joy isn't truly lost from us. In coming together and healing, we have turned our grief into gold. We will now observe a moment of silence to honor those who were lost this year for a length of 122 seconds, 1 second for each community member who has passed. Thank you for joining us in that moment of silence. At this time, we will now take a brief intermission to both end the stream and allow everyone present to visit the catering tables and make sure their needs are met before we begin the open mic portion of the evening. We're ending the stream so that each satellite location can have time to allow their attendees to discuss and process emotions as a group in the same way that we will do here with our open mic. If you are viewing the stream from home, I would encourage you to take this final half hour or so to journal, create art, or otherwise process your emotions in a way that feels supportive to you. If you are interested in being heard by the community through sharing a story of a loved one, a poem, defining what resilience means to you, or any other form of processing the grief and emotions that Trans Day of Remembrance brings through speaking in front of our audience tonight, please find me by that corner during the break so that I can add your name to the list for our open mic. Please be mindful of the language you're using and aware of the purpose of this ceremony. Thank you all again for attending tonight's Trans Day of Remembrance Vigil. We'll return at, let's do 7:25. 7:25. Thank you.